Well, let me recognize also some special people that are standing here on the stage. Representative Jay West, Representative Wes Cox, Senator Mike Gambrill, Melanie McLean, she's not here, from Arthrex, is she here? They here? There you go. I remember when you came here and you immediately hooked up with the technical college and the university. That was a great move. Also is Lee Sowell from TTI here somewhere. Thank you. And Damon Granger from Granger Nissan. And of course, there he is. Anthea is here, and Brian White. We appreciate all y'all's work. You know, you can't recognize anybody with these masks on. And you don't know if people can even hear you while you're talking. But we get on television a lot, so we get recognized with a mask on or not. But my daughter had a funny story. She was calling a lady to get some furniture, called a furniture store, and the lady said, well, we saw your dad out at the Home Depot a couple of days ago. Said, my son and I, 9 years old, out there, we saw him at the Home Depot. Said he had 2 men with him, and he had a bulldog. We got a little white English bulldog with black spots. Beautiful dog, 3 years old. Said we saw him out there with the bulldog, and my son looked up and said, that must be somebody important. They got on suits, and they got 3 men, and they walking along. She said, well, do you know who that is? He said, well, let me look. So a little later, we got to leave, and we went and got in the big black Suburbans and drove off, and the boy says, I know who that was. The lady says, who is that? She says, that was the governor. She said, how do you know? How could you recognize him? She said, I could tell. I recognized the dog. Whatever we do to recognize what we have to do is helpful. And the facts have shown, as we know more and more, that education is the key to everything we do in South Carolina. We have businesses from around the world that could go anywhere, and they come to South Carolina because of the people. There's something about our culture, there's something about the people. The General 4-star General Mark Clark said there's more patriotism in South Carolina per square inch than any place in the world. That translates into loyalty, it translates into determination, it translates into all the good things that make people strong. But ladies and gentlemen, we have that. We've got the people, but we got to educate them. If we can educate our people, then there's no stopping us for the future of our state. That is the promise that we've made in our Constitution, is to have a system of education, free public education, that will educate those children. Well, this coronavirus has thrown a monkey wrench into those plans, but we are overcoming, and we're going to educate those children despite that. So I'm quite proud to announce today that the South Carolina state will be purchasing and distributing $10 million worth of personal protective equipment and supplies to 70 school districts to help ensure that schools reopen safely this fall. As you know, we have 81 school districts. 70 asked for this personal protective equipment, and we are providing to them every single thing that they asked for at no cost to the school districts or to the parents. In May, the General Assembly allocated $155 million from the state contingency reserves to meet COVID-19 response reserve account. The legislature authorized me as governor to use these funds to do what? To protect the health, safety, and welfare of the public as a result of the COVID-19 pandemic. We know that the suffering and economic damage inflicted by the virus has been dramatic. We hear stories every day. Some of us have felt it ourselves. Families, businesses, livelihoods, and educations have been affected, many very damagingly, and that is falling now, and we want to stop that fall on our children. Our children have lost valuable learning progress due to the schools being closed. We know that. There's only so long that you can keep a child. We know that they lose some of the momentum in learning, that what they've learned over the summer. But what we've experienced so far, we have got to be sure that they are getting all that they need to get educated. They've been isolated from their teachers, their friends, and their daily routines. We are now learning even more than we knew before about how months of isolation and uncertainty have impacted the mental health of our children. Superintendent Molly Spearman and I are in strong agreement. Children need to return to the classroom. Attending school helps protect many of our most vulnerable children in a variety of ways and allows our teachers to intervene when necessary, and it also provides for the important, vital education of our children. If we do not educate our children, if we have a generation or a class or a group that falls behind because of this, they will be paying the price for that for years to come. We are in strong agreement. This $10 million investment will help ensure that our school and classrooms are safe and secure for students and teachers. The PPE, that's personal protective equipment, and supplies being distributed to the school districts are as follows. For adult and student masks, and again, this is what the school districts have asked for. Adult and student masks, 248,000 of those. Cloth masks, 600,000 cloth masks. The KN95 masks, 80,000. Face shields, 150,000. Gloves, 46,000. Gowns for nurses, 237,000. Cases of disinfecting wipes, 12,000. Gallons of hand sanitizer, 11,000. 25 districts asked for and received plexiglass shields for the teachers and students. And as I mentioned, there were 70 districts that asked for equipment, and it has all will be supplied at no cost. It will be delivered. This announcement is just one more example of how Team South Carolina can work together, how we communicate, collaborate, and coordinate to meet the needs of our state in this unprecedented pandemic. I want to especially express my thanks and that of the parents of South Carolina for the members of the General Assembly who are here today. I mentioned them a moment ago. We thank you for getting this done. Superintendent Spearman and the Department of Education surveyed and collected the requests of the school districts, as I mentioned, and their needs have been met. I also want to express my appreciation to Superintendent Tom Wilson and the education leaders in this room, district staff and school board members from Anderson 3, 4, and 5. They have been working with parents, teachers, and staff to reopen schools this fall. As you may have noticed in the news recently, Superintendent Wilson participated with me and others on the Vice President's Roundtable in Columbia just last month. His comments to all of us and then at the national press conference following about the importance of providing education to our youngest students who are just learning to read resonated with the Vice President. As Tom stated, if we are not intentional, if we are not determined, if we do not do everything that must be done and can be done, a whole generation of our children will be at risk of dropping out of school. And that, ladies and gentlemen, we cannot afford. I want to thank the following state agencies who've also made this expedited purchase and distribution possible. That is the State Fiscal Accountability Authority, South Carolina Department of Administration, the Department of Transportation, and the Emergency Management Division. Finally, I want to thank again the business leaders who are here today, Melanie McLean from Arthrex, Lee Sowell from TTI, Damon Granger from Granger Nissan, and representatives from AnMed Health and Duke Energy. You've not only invested in this facility, but also supported other educational opportunities in Anderson County. It is a true partnership, and this is what happens. And this place that we are here today, and this announcement today, is one more example of how Team South Carolina works together to make South Carolina the best place on earth to live, work, and raise a family. Thank you.